Spanish grid operator ignored 5 years of warnings over green power blackouts risk as socialist PM Sanchez faces mounting fury over cover-up after deadly outage. Yeah. Oh, shit. We better hurry up and hide this if the people find out that we're responsible. Uh-oh. Yes, they were supposed to be underwater by 2014. Man, we were supposed to be both frozen and melted underwater by like 1980, right? I covered an article years ago going through decades. Like we went through like 60 different fear-mongering lies. Like that's why I just don't take any of them seriously. Spanish authorities ignored 5 years of expert warnings. Yeah, notice that whenever the experts disagree with them, they no longer trust the experts. Funny how that works. That boosting renewable energy production would leave the power grid vulnerable. In September, current year -5, technicians from Red Electrica or RE. Okay, that is too good. So they got a bunch of RE-ing technicians there, huh? Which operates the Spanish electricity grid, laid out down a series of essential proposals to avoid unacceptable imbalances or disruptions to power. Oh, it's okay. These politicians know more than the experts do. But the measures have either not been implemented or have been phased in very gradually while the green energy production has been ramped up. Yeah, got to meet those quotas. That's the most important thing. 2 months ago, they also warned the use of renewable energy risk disconnections in the system with the reduction of nuclear or gas-produced power, increasing the risk of operational incidents. The revelations, first reported in El Mundo, came to light of Spain's historic nationwide blackout on Monday. Yeah, I hear that was kind of shit. It caused the disaster, which also affected Portugal and France. Now, how did France get affected? I mean, doesn't France have their own nuclear plants that should have been able to keep up with this? Has not yet been confirmed, with the Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez launching a probe into the incident. Yeah, so he's launching the probe to make sure that everything inconvenient gets covered up. But Sanchez has been criticized for failing to safeguard the nation due to his pursuit of renewable energy production and his plans to phase out nuclear power in Spain by 2035. Well, and he's also been removing a bunch of dams, which is what caused a lot of that flooding earlier. We warned last year that there was a short-term risk of generator disconnections due to green energy integration. Yeah, there's a lot of problems, although there's plenty of people on YouTube that actually know how the electrical grids work in detail and can explain this to you. But I can't give you specifics because it's not my area of expertise. But there are a few issues, like primarily with coal and nuclear, they at least provide consistent power, which is pretty important. It's predictable. It can be planned around. And then there's also like a lot of these grids require a minimum load because if they ever go fully down, they would need electricity on the grid to restart themselves, which is kind of awkward, which can be done from power plants, but not so much from the renewable sources. Yeah, there's all sorts of considerations, but again, I'm not the expert there. But the politicians all think they are, and they know better. So the annual report warned the closure of coal, natural gas, and nuclear plants could lead to a reduction in the firm capacity and balancing capabilities of the electrical grid, as well as its strength and inertia. This could increase the risk of operational incidents that could affect the company's supply and reputation. And in January, the National Commission on Markets and Competition said at times voltages in the transmission grid have reached maximum values close to the thresholds permitted by regulations, even exceeding them at times. So the whole thing's got to be shut down just so they don't get in trouble, right? You can't be caught violating regulations. The time for some malicious compliance. Sanchez yesterday vowed to get to the bottom of the matter and claimed nuclear would not have prevented the disaster. Yes, it would. The necessary reforms and measures will be implemented to ensure this doesn't happen again. Yeah, let's just leave it off permanently. We'll never have another blackout again. We will demand appropriate accountability from all private operators. Well, this right here is like the shitty position these private companies are in. They've been warning the government that this is fucking stupid and dangerous for years. The government made them do it anyway. And now that all of their warnings have come to pass, it's somehow their fault. Not the government that forced it on them. They're completely innocent, of course. With grave dependence on this energy, the recovery would have been much slower. There was nuclear generation operating just before the system collapsed and was shut down like the rest. Therefore, nuclear generation is no more resilient than other sources of generation. Okay, so because it got dragged down with everything else, it's see, it wouldn't have prevented it. Like, actually, no, like not having these unstable sources on the grid would have prevented the shutdown in the first place. Like, never mind. I'm going to let the actual experts rip this idiot a new one. But he was accused of covering up both the government and Ree's failures by Alfredo Garcia, telecommunications engineer and nuclear reactor operator. What nuclear power plants do is provide stability to the electrical grid. There was very high renewable production at the time of the blackout, which are plants that do not provide stability to the grid in the face of these fluctuations. With more inertia, that accident would have been more unlikely. Sanchez clearly lied in this case. Now, to be fair, I don't think he lied. I just think he's stupid. Like, he clearly has no knowledge on this matter, yet he's acting like he's an expert. Yet he is making decisions and legislating this as if he was an expert, where he clearly is ignorant as fuck on the matter. That's the problem with politicians legislating new technology in general. Like, look at all these idiots that keep trying to ban encryption online. Like, man, these fucking boomers need to be legally forbidden from writing laws on shit they don't understand. They're always very poorly informed, and they lie to him. We don't know exactly where the lie comes from, but that's a lie, and I can say from experience. Miguel Talado, a parliamentary spokesperson for the opposition Conservative People's Party, added, since RE has ruled out the possibility of a cyber attack, we can only point to the malfunctioning of RE, which has state investment, and therefore its leaders are appointed by the government. RE, which is headed by former socialist minister Beatriz Corredor, narrowed down the source of the outage to two separate instances of loss of generation in substations in southwestern Spain, but says it's yet to identify the exact location. It's too early to explain what caused them. Translation, we know what caused the issue. We just need some time to cover it up and come up with a plausible lie. Once we've got our excuse in order, then we'll tell you. We'll let you know. An interview with Cadena Sar Radio. SAR, do not redeem. Corder said it was wrong to blame the outage on Spain's high share of renewable energy until it's proven right, just like the lab leak theory. Am I right? And these technologies are already stable and have systems that allow them to operate as a conventional generation system without any safety issues. Yep, that's exactly what everyone that works in this grid will tell you. That's exactly right. Sure. Yeah, but let's not trust the experts when they disagree with us. Major outages across Spain and Portugal on Monday caused widespread disruption, grounding flights and halting trains as phone lines and internet were cut off. Oh, fuck, man. I could live without that other stuff, but the internet, that's too far. As many as 205 flights leaving Spanish airports were canceled Monday, with dozens more diverted to other airports as swaths of the country ground to a halt. In Portugal, 185 departures were put off and 187 canceled. Just before the system crashed, solar energy accounted for 50% of electricity production, wind for almost 11%, and nuclear and gas for 15%. Antonio Turiel, an energy expert at the state-owned Spanish National Research Council, told Onda Vasca radio station on Tuesday the fundamental problem was the grid's instability. But that's something that the politicians can't understand, though. And if you disagree with their political agenda, they're not going to listen to you. Or a lot of renewable energy has been integrated without the responsive stabilization systems that should have been in place. He said, the vulnerability stemmed from the unplanned and haphazard integration of a host of renewable systems. Jordi Sevilla, RE's chair until current year -5, wrote in the opinion piece in Cinco Dias newspaper that the government was moving too fast to decommission nuclear power plants that could provide stable generation to offset the peaks and troughs of intermittent renewable energy. Yeah, another way it would be to route the renewable energy directly into batteries, which you would then pull a stable amount out of. But even that requires a lot more management than just spinning up a coal or nuclear plant. Professor Furongli of the University of Bath's Department of Electronic and Electrical Engineering said, as renewable energy sources increasingly replace traditional synchronous generation, such as coal and gas, this shift introduces significant challenges in maintaining power system stability. One key issue is the reduction of system inertia, which makes the grid more sensitive to disturbances and introduces new phenomena we're not yet fully equipped to understand, predict, or manage. Hey, don't worry, guys. We're the guinea pigs. We're going to figure this out. It'll be tested on us. These challenges are part of evolving reality of low carbon energy systems. Reduced inertia makes power systems more dynamic and vulnerable to instability, prompting operators to adopt faster alternative methods of maintaining grid security. Alternatively, they could just make us all live in grass huts with no electricity and eat the boogs. Ah, shit, they're already trying to do that. Oh, well.